Guys, so I decided I'm gonna do a voiceover for this video because I did not feel like speaking while I was doing this project. So what I started off by doing is laying my fabric down and then taking a dress that fit me nicely to just kind of outline the body and shape it out. Also, this is not really a tutorial, it's kind of just the process of me making this dress. However, I am thinking about making a pattern, but I'm not sure yet. So next, what I'm doing is laying out the pieces that I cut out from the dress and then doing the same thing for the top part, except this time I actually made a pattern for the kind of top area rather than tracing a garment that I already owned. As you can see, these are the pieces laid out after they're cut. And then I did the same thing for the back side of the top layer. So while making this pattern, I didn't really take into account the neck hole. So you're gonna notice that I did have to go and readjust the opening for the neck. Here I'm measuring both of the pieces together and then noticing the error that I made with the neck hole, but then I just ended up cutting a wider cut so I can be able to align it with the top part. Here, to make it a little easier for myself, I pinned the actual pattern that I made onto the fabric so it wouldn't move when I tried to cut the fabric. This fabric was also very slippery. I think it's called like charmeuse. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but that's the fabric that I use. And honestly, I think it was the perfect fabric for this dress because it's really good with not wrinkling. And also it just flows really nicely and the color was so pretty. So here I'm cutting out the sleeves and I decided to do a bell sleeve for this top because I thought it would be fitting and with the color. This is my first time actually doing sleeves, so they did turn out a little bit wonky because usually I don't sew long sleeves onto tops. But it turned out pretty good, but you know, there's definitely room for improvement. So here are both of the sleeves together, and then the next day I began pinning all of the cutouts that I did. I also decided to pin the hems while I was at it so it would make the whole sewing process a little easier for me. So here I started sewing my scrap fabric to make sure the tension level was right before I actually sewed it onto my actual dress. And then I began sewing along wherever I pinned, whether it was the hems or just pinning the pieces together. Look how crisp they look like. And then I also went ahead, I'm going to show it, but I went ahead and ironed it after to make it even smoother. But this fabric was so easy to work with. And also make sure you backstitch. So here is everything sewn, and then I went ahead and sewed the two front pieces together before I attached it to any other pieces. And as I mentioned earlier, to make sure everything laid flat and nice and clean, I went ahead with the iron to iron all of the hems that I just sewed. So here's when I began attaching the bodice to the top parts that I made and kind of mapping out, where everything should align. And then I went ahead and pinned that together before I did the back piece. So now that both the front, top, and bottom pieces are connected, I went ahead and sewed everything together. And then I went ahead and connected the pieces from the top so I can kind of see where I wanted the shoulders to go. Here I'm pinning the sleeves closed before I go ahead and sew it and attach it to the top and bottom pieces. So here's everything all pinned together, and what I did was sewed the front and back pieces together before I went ahead and attached the sleeves, and then I was completely finished with the dress. Oh, I also did some finishing touches with the hems, and then that was it.